Now, as I mentioned earlier, One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson, has appointed Tanya Mihalik, MLC, as the leader of the party in the state of New South Wales. You'd know that Tanya's been in the parliament since 2011, a strong voice for issues that affect mainstream Australia, believing that One Nation is now the only party that truly represents their conservative values. Now, I think I was talking to Pauline maybe a fortnight ago on the Overnight Show, and she made that point about conservative values. And if you think about what's happened in New South Wales, you have the Progressive Left Labor Party, and you have the wet lettuce leaf New South Wales Liberal Party. And I think it's not an unfair thing to say that traditional conservative values are a thing that the Liberal Party have forgotten about. And perhaps One Nation is where some people might turn into the future. Let's have a chat to their leader, Tanya Mihalik, who's on the line. How are you?
I'm well, Luke. How are you?
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm really delighted to take on the role.
Now, I think we've got to make it probably clear that it's been not a rocky road for One Nation in New South Wales, and I know you won't run from that. You'll have something to say about it. And you've had members leave the party, some of them high profile, like Mark Latham. So how have you got through that? And is everything now settled down and we just get on with things? Where are things up to?
Look, I think we have moved on. Look, I've respected his decision and hopefully he's respected my decision to stay. I've had actually a terrific run this year with One Nation. It's been a real pleasure to get to know my members and to get to know the supporters, and indeed Pauline, I think, has been a fantastic leader. And look, I've respect Mark Latham's decision to go, but I think he's moved on, and certainly the members have moved on. We've just had our AGM last week in Central Coast, and everybody is certainly in really good spirits and looking forward to the future for One Nation.
How do we define the conservative values I spoke about before and One Nation? From a policy perspective, Tanya, let me put this to you. What's different between, say, One Nation and the New South Wales Libs? Now, there's no election in 5 minutes, so I don't expect a whole range of policies, but what do you see the difference being?
Well, I'll give you an example. Last few weeks, the New South Wales government just passed some of the toughest net zero legislation in the country, so the most arbitrary net zero targets. And they worked together with the Greens, the Libs and the National Party. And what they've essentially moved will mean that most of our power stations will be shut in the next few years, at the expense of proper and reliable energy supply in New South Wales. And that's a good example of where One Nation moved motions to stop this. And it was very sad to see the Nationals in New South Wales and indeed the Liberal Party work together with the Greens and Labor, the Progressive Left, hurting our businesses, hurting our rural and regional communities, and ultimately hurting our families that are doing it tough. These are the sorts of issues that are happening here in New South Wales. Also, I've raised, why do we keep putting money towards virtue signalling projects? Why do we... there's still an agenda to support the voice at the New South Wales level.
Yes.
There's still an agenda to support the treaty, in complete contrast to what the public are asking for. And one of the most recent policy decisions that I've made that I think will be totally in contrast to what the Nationals and Liberals believe in these days is to actually stop teachers from providing their political views in the classroom. I'm really tired of politics in the classroom and the type of left-wing indoctrination that we're seeing in the classrooms. And I'm going alone in this as a One Nation member in New South Wales.
Well, look, you know what? I think the point is, and we saw those, I think it's PISA results a few weeks back. We contrast the result to what it was 20 years ago, and we're just sliding not into oblivion, but a long way from where we once were. And we've never spent so much money. So, look, I don't know if listeners agree completely with this, but it seems to me that money and educational outcomes are not connected. This is supported by a UN study in Indonesia that was conducted some time back, but the live numbers we're seeing in Australia right now, they mirror. The only other thing it could be is whoever the idiots are that are spending the money are spending it in the wrong places. That could be the other thing.
Well, that's because the focus is on activism, not on academics. It's not on basics like English and reading and maths. It's on these virtue signalling projects. One of the recent changes that they're proposing for kindergarten kids is to ask 5-year-olds to decipher the difference between welcome to country and acknowledgement of country. Why are 5-year-olds going to be taught that in the classroom, Luke, instead of reading and writing?
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
What
It's
a novel
madness.
idea.
It's madness. What about, we're having a conversation here about conservative values. You were a Labor MP for a long, long time. Talk to me about the journey from there to here.
Yeah, look, I always joke that you get less for murder. So 27 years I was in the Labor Party, Luke.
Wow.
So, wow, I know,
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
But I finally woke up. I finally woke up and saw the light, is all I can say.
Yeah.
But it was a party that always made you toe the line, and progressively over the years it became so more left-wing and very difficult for me as someone with Christian background and family. Yeah, family's really important for me. My parents arrived here from escaping communist regimes overseas, and they came here for a better life in Australia. And I just felt that the Labor Party moved away from that. They don't care about mums and dads. They're all about virtue signalling, and they've moved too far to the left for ordinary Australians.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been an absolute pleasure. One of the best conversations I've ever had is in January when Pauline called me to congratulate me on coming on board One Nation. She made it clear to me that One Nation will be a party that's about speaking your mind and being free to raise the issues that you like. And I can tell you, Luke, I never heard that from the Labor Party in 27 years. So
there's
the difference.
There you go. Terrific to talk to you, Tanya. Good luck. Look forward
Thank you so much, Luke.
your policies and ideas, because, we need, my own view is we do need those conservative values. And even if you mightn't have 100 seats in the parliament, you'll have political sway. You'll talk to programs like this, and you'll force voters to realise that we won't be, fed spoonfuls of rubbish from the major parties that, I agree with you, have seemingly just gone in one direction, too far to the left. So keep the bees honest, I think someone once famously said.
Thanks very much, Luke.
Lovely to chat to you. Thank you. Good on you. Tanya Mihalik, who's the leader of One Nation in New South Wales. I mean, she doesn't lead a party of 1 million people, but, we rely on these different views to come together, and the people will make their own mind up. But if we have the same tripe from all the same players, then, where's the choice? We need choice. We need fresh ideas. We need a bit of... a bit of razzmatazz, not glittery clothes and the gear, but just ideas that might excite us occasionally. We seem to be devoid of that stuff.